Hi everyone and welcome to this week's Pound Zero. It's week 13 and it's the weigh-in video for the week. Yay! But before we get on to that, I'm just going to mention that I'm changing the format of this little vlog a little bit. So Sundays I will continue to do the weigh-in video and I will talk about food and I will talk about my favourite recipe that I discovered this week. But going forward, I'm actually going to do some other mini videos throughout the week, and I think this way I'm going to get a chance to actually talk about some more of the issues that I have on my weight loss journey and how I've overcome them or are in the process of overcoming them as I go through on my journey, which might help anyone else who's out there on a similar journey. So here's hoping it works out for the best. I do have one of those lifestyles at the moment, particularly, that doesn't give me a lot of free time at home. So fingers crossed this actually works in my benefit. I guess we'll figure that out when we get there. We'll give it a go anyway and see what happens. I'm all for it. But so I suppose first thing off the rank, necessary evils, onto the scales. So just to recap, when I started my weight loss journey in January this year, I was 120 kilos or 264.5 pounds. Of course, towards the end of last year, I was a little bit higher than that. But, you know, when I actually started this journal and started actually documenting my journey, I started off at 120 kilos. Last week, after my weight fluctuation, and it did go back up quite substantially after a weekend of poor eating, I came in at 113.2 kilos or 249.5 pounds. So after this week, where I was actually quite ill, and you might still be able to hear it comes and goes, I did spend 3 days pretty much just not moving from bed, and I suppose my diet wasn't poor, but the fact that I wasn't eating as much as I usually would doesn't help either, because you need to eat to keep the metabolism up and moving. Which is why breakfast is so important. It's supposed to kickstart that whole metabolism, and then you just got to keep it going all day. Neither here nor there at this particular point. So I was sick this week, but I didn't eat too poorly. And this week I came in at 112.3 kilos, which roughly translates to 247.5 pounds. So this week I've actually lost 900 grams or about 1.9-ish pounds, which, considering I spent most of it just lying down, I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. I do have plans of getting out this week, even if it is just walking. I'm probably not very far this week. Like I said, I was sick. And then, of course, yesterday I went and did the Australian Running Festival. I only did the 5Ks. And my time actually wasn't that bad. It's actually pretty comparable to when I walk 5Ks usually. Maybe a little bit slower than in my usual pace. But I do feel that getting back in the saddle so quickly may have put my health recovery back a little bit. I'm definitely feeling it in the chest today. So my exercise this week will be very light, but at least just get out and get moving and get the blood pumping. It's not going to take me much to get out of breath, to be honest, so I'm not going to actually aim for that, but at least just get things circulating more than they should. No, they're more than they are now, more than they should. That's what we're aiming for. I was going to go through my measurements, as it is, you know, the beginning of April. And of course, measurements are another way of judging weight loss. But I did my measurements this morning, specifically for this video, and they're exactly the same as last month, so I'm not going to bother. Save time for other discussions. When there's a change, I'll let you guys know, certainly. So on that note, let's talk about food. So today I'm going to talk about the humble beetroot. Some people are a fan, some people are not, some people don't even know what beetroot is. So here's a picture of a beetroot. Looks like a little heart. So beetroot has been hailed as a superfood by numerous organizations, I guess, over the last few years. They're packed full of flavor, they are jam-packed full of nutrients and vitamins, and are also touted to have many disease-fighting properties. So with all that in mind, they are generally a pretty good addition to any weight loss plan. They're actually a versatile little vegetable. I guess we'll call it a vegetable. It's a root. Carrot's a vegetable, right? Yeah. So you can pickle them, steam them, fry them, boil them if you so choose. They are a rich, deep purple colour, which is actually related to the beta-cyanin, I think is how you pronounce it. Cyanin? I'll go with it. So beta-cyanin is a powerful antioxidant that can help remove toxins from your body. It helps remove fatty deposits from your bloodstream. So it helps lower cholesterol as well as a risk of heart disease. And beetroot or beetroot juice can also help lower blood pressure, reduces the risk of heart disease, as I've just said, and of course the risk of stroke, which is great for all of us. They have high levels of nitrates and nitric oxide. When nitric oxide is released into the bloodstream, it helps widen the blood vessels, which reduces blood pressure. There you go. Useful fact for the day. Beetroot is also rich in folic acid, which is essential for healthy tissue growth and cell repair. Folic acid is also very crucial in the development of baby's spinal cord, which I think it prevents or helps prevent spina bifida, I think it is, off the top of my head. So it's great to have during pregnancy. It also contains a heck load of iron, which helps combat fatigue. If you get suffer from fatigue. It also contains soluble fiber, which also helps reduce lower cholesterol. It contains flavonoids and carotenoids, which are known to reduce levels of bad cholesterol while improving levels of good cholesterol. I suppose it's like good fats and bad fats, really. So why is beetroot great for weight loss? Well, it's very low in calories, and it contains around 38 calories per 100 grams of beetroot, along with just 0.1 grams of fat. Not very much at all. It has a very low glycemic load, which means as you consume it, the body slowly converts it to energy, so you don't get those sugar hits and the sugar highs and the sugar crashes as a result, which of course that leads to cravings of sugary and fatty foods. It's rich of insoluble fiber, the fiber that your bodies can't digest, but it's helps with digestion, I suppose, and the whole moving stuff through your body and waste. It's probably the most delicate way I can put that. So insoluble fiber helps us go to the toilet more often, promoting a healthy digestive tract and healthy bowel, reducing the risk of bowel cancer. So really, including beetroot in your everyday diet can help boost your weight loss and improve your health overall. So because of this, today's recipe is loaded. loaded full of beetroot. Doesn't that sound like fun? I can't remember what today's recipe is off the top of my head. This is so gonna get cut and pasted, right? Yeah. Before I move on, I am going to mention that if you look for beetroot on the internet, I would almost guarantee that at least in the first lot of pages that show up in your search will be about the beetroot diet. So I've had a quick look into this particular diet. It is a crash diet, be warned. Look, on face value, beetroots probably do contain enough minerals, vitamins, nutrients, and all the good stuff that you need to actually sustain you for a couple of days. Some websites say that you shouldn't do this diet for more than 10 days, which probably gives you a pretty good indication that it is not for long-term like consumption, I guess. And there is also a couple that say, you know, a week at most. There is also the 3-day beet diet. I personally, I'm not going to give it a go. I did think about it for probably about 5 minutes. It is, like I said, it is a crash diet. It is for fast weight loss, and fast weight loss is very hard to sustain. And of course it can make you quite ill if you don't do it properly. And of course, a lot of people also have the issue with these crash diets that they lose the weight fast, but of course they gain the weight back, and that's not what we're really aiming for here. So I personally will not be trying the beet diet. If it's something that does interest you, or you just need to lose a little bit to get into that dress for some special occasion, maybe you could entertain it, but it's not something that a lot of nutritionists or dietitians would actually recommend. But enough on that. Moving on to recipe of the week. Yay! So the recipe of the week this week that I found on the internet is going to contain beets because they are so good for a weight loss plan. We have the seared steak with horseradish. We have the seared steak with horseradish-root vegetable slaw. So steaks, I am a big carnivorous meat eater. I do love it. I will take it over veggies, although I am trying to be more conscientious about that these days. Because steaks usually are served with mashed potatoes, making it a very big, very heavy meal. So this recipe kind of plays on that, but takes the heaviness out of it. They use obviously steak and horseradish to create a vinaigrette, which is all very, very tasty. It also uses shredded beets, turnips and carrots to create a slaw, like a coleslaw, I guess, which of course brings in the tang to cut through the other flavors, and it actually works together really quite well. It takes about 40 minutes to put together, so you know, it does take a little bit of planning. It's not one of these rush home and smash it up kind of things. Each serve comes in around 246 calories per serve, so for a 1200 calorie diet such as myself, this is well and truly within that range, and leaves a little room for, you know, a little square of dark chocolate after the fact. I'm not sure what else I could actually say about this. You can change up the veggies to what, you know, whatever your preference is. Of course, they do tend to lean towards root vegetables. That's where all the nutrition and fiber is. But of course, if you do have preferences or dislikes, it's a fairly easy swap out. It's not going to strongly adverse the flavors. The flavors aren't going to clash terribly hard. That said, it was fairly easy. Just need a vegetable grater. You could do it with lamb too if you preferred, and of course maybe grain, so maybe a nice quinoa or brown rice on the side just to fill out the meal a little bit would actually do quite well as well. So of course, link is in the description below, along with a couple of websites on beetroots themselves. I've not included the beet diet, as I briefly touched on earlier, but Google search for beet diet will bring up a plethora of websites that you could look into. But aside from that, that's it for me for this weigh-in video this week. I do hope I see more of you throughout the week with mini videos. Of course, give the video a thumbs up. If there's anything you want me to look into, put it in the comments below, or just leave me a comment and say hi. If you're a new subscriber, I hope you kind of like what you've seen and stick around. Just click on the subscribe button below. What else can I say? Twitter, follow me on Twitter. Link in the description below. Anything I find useful on my journey I throw up on Twitter. Even if it is just a cute little motivational poster, just to keep the spirits high, keep them going. And of course, if there's anything you want me to look into, comment below and I will do my best. If you've got any questions, feel free and we may just respond, or as in one of the questions that I've recently received on one of my other videos, my brother and I are doing another collaborative video to answer that query. There'll be a few food reviews this week coming along, which will be nice. There's still a few things out of the Bella box that I need to trial in front of you guys, because, you know, what's the point of losing all this weight if we don't feel pretty while we do it? So this stuff is equally as important, I think. But until next time, be healthy and be good to each other. Bye.